This video is for historical and educational purposes only. It aims to provide an objective analysis of historical events and does not promote or endorse any ideology, hate speech, or violence. All footage, images, and discussions in this video are used to document and explain historical events based on verifiable sources. Want to watch more videos like this? Join my Patreon and access 40+ posts. Viewer discretion is advised.
I am speaking to you from the Cabinet Room at 10 Downing Street. This morning, the British ambassador in Berlin handed the German government a final note stating that unless we heard from them by 11 o'clock, that they were prepared at once to withdraw their troops from Poland, a state of war would exist between us. I have to tell you now that no such undertaking has been received, and that consequently this country is at war with Germany.
England does not want peace. We heard that again yesterday. I already stated in my Reichstag speech that I personally have nothing more to add. We only regret that France placed itself in the service of this British warmongering, and that it tied its path to that of England. We will speak to the English in a language they will likely already understand. As for Germany, we have never been afraid of a front. We once successfully defended two fronts. We now have one front, and we will successfully withstand it. Of that, one can be convinced. So we now stand at a great historical turning point. National Socialism emerged from the struggle. We were all soldiers back then. A large part has put on the gray uniform again today, but the others have also remained soldiers. Back then, we only had our faith, and we subdued and eliminated these phenomena. Today, we also have power. Unfortunately, not the people I have courted the most in my life, the British. Not that the English people as a whole are solely responsible for this. On the contrary, it is a few people who, in their hidden hatred, in their electoral humor, sabotaged every such attempt at understanding, supported by that international world enemy we all know, international Jewry. I am also convinced that with all these men, there is truly no understanding. They are the mad ones. People who for 10 years knew no other word than just one. We want another war with Germany. The Monen with whom I tried to bring about an understanding, this Chochi only ever had one call. I want a war. He has it now. If, however, this Germany today possesses a different form, it is because National Socialism has lifted the German people up again. It has created the intellectual, spiritual, moral, and also material conditions for the tremendous victories of the Wehrmacht, of our young Reich. Every soldier knows this and must know it. That the armies marching today under our banners are the revolutionary armies of the Third Reich. And they carry in their hearts not only the belief in a Germany as it once was, but they carry in their hearts the belief in the Germany that we all envision for the future, for which we have fought for so long. A better Reich, in which the great goals of our national and social movement are realized. We will now show you, dear gentlemen, what the strength of an 80 million people can achieve. United under one leadership, with one will, formed into a community. And here, in memory of the former deceased, the party will all the more have to fulfill its great vision. It will be the bearer of this will, of cohesion, of unity, and thus our German national community. Others did not believe that either. They were initially taught by Mr. Churchill, Mr. Chamberlain, Mr. Halifax, etc. Our Polish opponents would never have gone into this war if they had not been driven into it by the English. England strengthened their necks and incited and agitated them.
I really had the goal of staying in peace. And you know, from many rallies, from numerous meetings, and from my publications, my foreign policy vision that I had at the time, I wanted to establish the closest friendship relationship with England. I thought the two Germanic races ought to come together. I wanted to establish the same relationship with Italy. And I was already thinking about Japan at that time as another power with which we, because entirely without interests, could unite contradictions. As far as Italy is concerned, this attempt, as you know, succeeded. Unfortunately, it failed with England, completely against our own desire. That was not our fault. On the contrary, I tried until the last moment, until a few days before the outbreak of war, I still tried to realize my foreign policy goal. At that time, I made the greatest offer to the British ambassador. I was ready to go along with England, but it was in vain. I already saw back then how certain warmongers had been agitating relentlessly for years without being stopped. And there could be no doubt anymore that this happened in order to one day the British people to incite anger and hatred against Germany. Whereas, given my position, the German people felt no hatred towards England at all, such that one day Germany would have stumbled into war completely, emotionally unprepared. I emphasized in a speech in Saarbrücken that this could not continue, that English agitation would not be tolerated further, that I would then be forced to finally let German propaganda respond. So the moment came. The question was no longer whether the war would be avoided, but whether it could be avoided for 1, 2, or 3 more years, perhaps. And that through very severe German humiliations. And you must understand something, my old party comrades. At the moment, I realized that England only wanted to buy time, that they were determined to wage war there under all circumstances. Something that is only now consciously known through the external British state crowd, which was openly admitted. At that moment, I had only one single wish, that if they were to declare war on us, they would hopefully do it while I am still alive. For I know that this is the hardest struggle ever imposed on the German people. However, I was very sad before, because I did everything to avoid the war. In those days, Sven Hedin published a book in which he thankfully included my offer that was conveyed to the English at that time. I quoted word for the Poles. I must say I actually felt a shiver when I reread this offer. Thanks also to what I now know. Because if this offer had been accepted back then, then Danzig would probably be German, but otherwise everything would have remained the same. We would have devoted ourselves to our social tasks. We would have worked, we would have beautified our cities, we would have built housing colonies, we would have repaired our roads, we would have set up schools, we would have built a proper national socialist state. And now this struggle has come. I have also done everything here that a person could possibly do, almost to the point of self-debasement, to avoid it. I made offer after offer to the English. I spoke with their diplomats here and begged them to see reason. But it was no use. They wanted war, and they did not hide it at all. For 7 years, Mr. Churchill has been declaring, "I want war."
I regretted that peoples have to fight against each other, whom I so wish to bring together. Leader Adolf Hitler. Why can we not strike back? Why do we have to accept this? I had to force you for years to be legal repeatedly, and so it is today.
I sometimes have to watch for months somewhere. Do not think that my heart is not eaten away when I hear about these air raids.
You know, I have not done that for months. I did not allow a single bomb to be thrown into the city of Paris. I have. Before we attacked Warsaw, 5 times I asked for surrender. Everything was rejected. I requested that at least the women and children be sent out. Not even the envoy was received. Everything was rejected. Only then did I decide to do what is permissible under every law of war. When the English started with the bombings, I waited for 3.5 months and did nothing. We were already strong enough to do it. I waited. I believed that reason might eventually return. It turned out differently. Believe me, today it is no different.
And now my people's sacrifices, they are very difficult for the individual. The woman who lost her husband has lost the greatest thing she possesses. And the child that is lost to the father, equally now. The mother who sacrificed her child, or also the bride, or the beloved, who left it in their goal and never saw him again. They all made a great sacrifice. Let every German be aware that the sacrifice of these men was worth as much as any sacrifice will be worth in the future. What the woman sacrifices by giving the child to the nation, the man sacrifices by defending the nation. Over the course of many centuries, millennia, countless millions have fallen for our German people. Millions of others have given their blood for it. We have extended our hands so many times it was in vain. They wanted this fight. Now they shall have it. And the German people will continue this fight until a very clear decision is reached. The German people finally want to have peace. And indeed a peace that allows them to work, that doesn't provoke with every international lie, that enables others to turn minds against us. Of course, for these people, war is the greatest profit kit. I have no reason to wage war for any material interests. For us, it can only be sorrowful. It takes time away from us, and infinitely much work and manpower from the German people and the entire community. I do not own any armament shares. They do not deserve this fight. I would be happy if I could work again as I used to work for my people. But these international criminals, they are at the same time the biggest arms profiteers there are. They own all the factories. They make the deals. They are the same people we had in Germany before. I do not wish for the fight. If it is ever entrusted to me, then I will lead it as long as there is a breath alive in me. And I can lead it today. because I know that the entire German people stand behind me. When this war is concluded, then great work shall begin in Germany. Then a great party will be held, and the German land will resound. Then the German people stop the production of cannons, and then begin with the creation of peace through a new reconstructive effort for the masses of millions.
I had the occasion to talk to him without any other company. And I told him we will have the opportunity to attack London when London is covered by fog, and we can fly with everything we have available, even with the Junkers 52, like we did in Warsaw. And he said, stop it, stop it. I don't want to hear this. The whole attack on England is against my opinion, against my willing. I could stop it. The English population is of such high class, and they are so similar to the Germans that I hate to fight England.